Then 11. It's March 11th. All we gotta do is wait for poor lowly Instagram to come on. I'm always very weirded out by why it takes Instagram so long to figure out its life. It's always just like, hey, okay, I think that Instagram is figuring out its life. It's like, let's go. All right. Looks like we're on. Hello, my loves. It's March 11th. It's 11:11. Well, now it's 11:12. But I've survived. We survived. Daylight savings time changing. This is me, your girl Asia. I'm here for authentic Creatrix mode, which is basically just like me going live with like no makeup, no nothing. Like I just kind of go in here, you know what I mean? I'm just like, let's just see what happens. And I go for either 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Sometimes it could be 30 minutes. I try not to go for 30 minutes because that's too long. Hello, Momo. Hello, active mom of two. I try not to go too long, but it's just a chance for me to come on. It's what did Matt call it? An act of devotion. It's me saying I'm going to be here every Monday, so I'm here. And today is, guys, I'm repping Texas today, guys. Hook 'em. All my Longhorns, all my Texans. Anyway, so today I pulled the cards this morning, trying to figure out where I wanted to go talking today. And it was about choice. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Because basically all I've been doing is making choices, right? And then trying to see what happens when you make those choices. And in honesty, that's really all we're ever doing, right? We're all just making choices. We're just out here, choose your own character. We choose our character, choose your path, choose your own adventure. We're all just making choices. So I was okay with that. I'm like, all right, I can speak on choice. I made some crazy choices recently. And I don't mean crazy like, haha, let's question her sanity. I mean crazy like, why did I have to make so many choices in such a little bit of time? Can I get a couple of days going where I can at least see how these choices are going to affect us first before I just have to make another choice? And a lot of times, like, okay, I get it. I'm a Virgo rising. Okay. So I enjoy the planning part of it. And when I say enjoy, I mean I just deal with it because it's just who I am. Um, and the idea of having to make choices and then compound that choice with another choice, like right away, without knowing whether or not this choice was even a good one, a little scary to me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, all right, we're just doing this, okay? So we're just moving forward with that. That's my motto. I'm just gonna keep moving forward, okay? So yeah, this last week there were so many like of these crazy choices that were just coming up, and it was like, okay, go. We're gonna go with that one. We're gonna go with that one. And if you own a business, you understand. You're like, what? Like stuff just like shit just happens and you don't even know. Like I'm stuff I'm not prepared for sometimes. It's just you just jump in. You're just like, let's go. Okay, so we go. But then I am watching an astrologer. He's an Indian astrologer. Hey, Merritt, he's an Indian astrologer, and he's on and he's talking about how last week, this week, going into like the middle of this week, I personally, where I'm the way that my houses are set up. Okay, this is again, I'm not an astrologer, but sometimes this shit just lines up. Okay, but it was like I need to start making choices, or I'm being forced to make choices about, for me specifically, my relationships and my partnerships. And I'm like, I made those choices. I made those choices like hell a long time ago. It's like, and the questions are, the things that you did back in 2014, 15, and 16. And, did you make those choices with all of the information that you had, that you could have had? And I'm like, I made the best choices that I could with what I had to work with. Okay. I cut people out, right? I cut people off. I moved on, and yeah, I was like, I thought I did the best that I could with what I had to work with. And I'm apparently now being asked to rethink some of these choices, and I'm like, all right, let me go ahead and, hey, Dr. Carter, let me go ahead and rethink these choices. I get it. It happens. We're just cyclic, human beings. So I I made conscious choices not to be in relationships. And I'm going to just put that out there, okay? I'm saying it out loud. And I'm saying it out loud. This is a confession. These are my confessions. I chose, I said no relationships. Okay. That did not necessarily mean no other stuff, no canoodling, no intimacy. It just meant no relationships. Okay. Um, Only because I felt that I had moved into an area on the earth that was wrought with inconsistency, inauthenticity, mistrust, um, just all around, uh, you know, and I didn't want to make choices on relationships based off of where I'm at right now. Thought maybe later on I might move, I might go into a new space, and then maybe I'll be given better choices. But where I am right now, I was like, no relationships. And I had made that decision. And then, yes, there were a couple of times where I kind of rethought that decision. And I thought, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this person is right for me. And then, of course, not. No, I was not wrong. I was absolutely, correct. Hey, Deb, I was absolutely correct. They were not the right person for me, and it was a matter of me having the conversation in myself, right? Hey, we decided we weren't doing relationships, remember? But no, this guy could have been right. But I told you that this is where we're going to be. Okay, well, let me try it. Well, you do what you're going to do, but we're going to stay over here and wait and see what happens, kind of a thing, Anyway, no, they were wrong. They were all wrong, and it was all wrong. And I'm willing to admit that there were times when I said, hey, maybe I'm rethinking the relationship thing. But no, it did not happen. Okay. So anyway, cut to, that's kind of bad backstory to cut to last week, today, yesterday, this time period where dude comes on, Indian astrologer guy, and he's like, this time right now is a time when you need to make sure and cement the foundation of the choices that you made about this house, which again, my house, relationships and partnerships and things like that. And I'm like, all right, I'm in. Okay, this time I just stepped on the dog. Okay, this time I'm in. I know it. I know what it is. I'm not going that path of relationships. Okay. And it's easy to do here. I'm not gonna lie, it's very easy to do here. The area, the environment, it's very, very easy. Not even not a question. Okay. um and I was like, hey, we're all good. We're just not gonna, hi Kali, we're not going to we're not gonna do it. Okay. I made these decisions and I was like, all right, I'm sticking with my choice. This is my choice. I'm not doing this. You know what I mean? No no new friends type thing. You know what I mean? The heart is where the heart is. And the reason I realized that the reason that I chose that route was because I was like, I use my heart space for more spiritual reasons. Okay, somebody asks me a question, I use my heart space and the energy from here on up, right, to help people with their stuff. And maybe this is what I'm supposed to do, and maybe this is where my body is supposed to be used for that type of situation. Okay, and I can't continue to make fucked up choices with my heart, um and mess up what I'm doing basically as a business. You know what I mean? Especially like if you're a creator, you understand, okay? When you're creating something but you're giving some of that energy over to places that it should not be going, let's say, then it's not your muse. It's not it's just you're leaking your energy out. Some people are just sucking it, right? You haven't protected that space, and you're a creator, and you're trying to create something, but your heart space is kind of being pulled over here where it should not have gone. You get it, okay? I can't create that way. It's just not possible. Okay. If I do create, I'm creating garbage, right? Because my heart is now over here, or it's leaking, or it's not at its full capacity that it should be, so that I can help others. And I realized this weekend that that's what it was about. That I've made choices years ago to get me to here, and I didn't even know I was making them choices. It's all right. So the card that I pulled this morning was about choices. It was about your life decisions, about the determinations that you're making in life, and it was another chance for me to come on here humbly, as someone who is trying to document my spiritual journey for prosperity, right? As a way of, maybe if you are seeing this and then you feel like, oh, you know what, I connected with that resonated with me, you know what, that makes sense, then we can discuss it. So that's where it comes from. I made these choices. So last week I made a lot of choices. The decision to stick with not pursuing a relationship. And I don't know how best to say that. Like, if something showed up, it would have to be so magnificently, like, marvelous, that I was like, okay, no, you're supposed to be here at this time, in this moment, for me, to help me in my journey. You know what I mean? But outside of that, I had to shut it down. Like, we're just gonna shutting that shit down. It's not happening. Okay. And it, on the outside, sometimes I do, now if I'm being honest, I do get like, I can wish that there was somebody there in my life that served in a capacity of secret keeper. Not like, my besties or that type of a thing, but as like a soulful secret keeper, someone who, like, I keep secrets for people often. And I feel like I'm serving them a purpose. Like, people come and they just tell me their secrets, and I'm like, all right, cool, or how do you feel about that? And I get that. I don't have that type of lock and key mechanism person for me. And that can sometimes make me feel as if I am lacking in some way. I don't know if that makes sense. But it's not to say I need it, or like I necessarily want it. I do kind of I don't know how to even put this. Like, I don't even know how to put it, right? It's and it can be hard because, especially as women, they're like, oh well, no, you need a man, or and I'm like, I don't even know if I need a man. Like, what if it's my dog or something, like what if it's a woman? I don't know, like secret keeper, I don't know if they have to actually be a man. I know that we talked about balance and that idea of like me being able to balance that divine masculine with my divine feminine. And I think that that's really what it boils down to, is that I have like my divine feminine is over here, and I have like a little bit of divine masculine, because we all have a little bit in us of both, right? We all have like a little bit of both. But my divine masculine part does not have enough to balance out my divine feminine part. And so if I did find that divine masculine energy to complete my orb there. You like my orb. I know y'all are like, I think she really is holding something. Yeah, I'd feel complete at that point. Not complete. I'd feel balanced. I'm gonna go with balanced. I feel balanced at that point. I need to make sure. I did not open up the chat over here. I apologize. All right. There we go. But yeah, I feel balanced. I feel like, okay, now I can, kind of function accordingly. It would make sense to me. Um, and so I guess maybe my choice is allowing that specific energy to come in. Maybe it would have to be hella audacious and incredible type, but it can happen. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not putting that off, okay? And according to astrologer guy, there's some time, because apparently I make these choices now and they kind of like, fester for a little bit, and then they kind of lock in like 2027. So I got time. I've got time. Other than that, the other choices I made outside of my relationships were more creative wise, which we had discussed, and they were more along the lines of like naming changes, right? No longer talking about like the Phoenix circle, but actually talking about my soul alchemy circle. Kind of getting rid of the Phoenix circle, which, not to say it was a bad idea, but more to say I wanted to do more. I understand how the rebirth can just feel like it just happened, but I wanted to be able to add a level of accountability and responsibility and actual hands-on, and you have a part that you're playing in your transformation, in your rebirth. And so the idea of actually incorporating like the alchemy of it all, and calling it like my soul alchemy circle, it made sense to me. I was here for it. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. So yeah, that's what we did. If you went online and you went to my website, IamAliacia.com, which is kind of linked everywhere. If you went there, then you joined in, and you joined in on the 21-day free journal prompting. I would love to hear from you. Maybe not right now, but just let me know, because I have been getting some feedback from people who've started the journal prompting. the actual process of writing through on the journal prompts. And no, you can't go to the next day without starting. You have to start one day, finish that day, you get to the next day. And so they may be like 3 or 4 days in, and some of the questions were a little like, ooh, and made them think too much. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Thinking can be hard. Thinking can be, scary. But yeah, so let me know. Let me know about that. We're middle way in. I think, at 20 minutes, I should let you know. I have a sound bath coming up on Thursday at Family Social House. And the Soul Alchemist group, the Soul Alchemy group, will be available next week. So I'm working on it. These are the choices that I'm making. I hope and if it resonates with you that we make the choices based off of the information that we have to work with at this time, and that we have to have some type of compassion for ourselves as we are making these choices, because there really is no right or wrong answer. Okay, there is the answer that gets you on this path, and then there is the answer that gets you on this path. And maybe, just maybe, you thought at some end result you wanted to be on this path, but somehow you ended on this path, and that may feel wrong to you. Please know there are no right or wrong choices that you're making while you're on your path. You are making the choices that resonated with the information that you have to work with. And they are neither right nor wrong, because there is no right or wrong, right? There's no right or wrong, only doing makes it so. We take in our minds, we take some criteria, and then we say, oh, this is wrong, based off of the criteria that we got in our minds, either from some book somewhere, or you understand what I'm saying? So whereas if I'm telling you that I made this choice, and this choice is working great for me, and this choice is exactly where I needed to be because I see my path going in this direction, but that choice is not the choice that you would necessarily make, does not necessarily make the choice wrong. Okay? And vice versa. So that's where I'm going with this. Okay? We make our choices, but we have to have some compassion, some feeling of, I am doing the best that I have with what I have to work with. And I am working on making it so that the things that I have to work with work better for me, so that I can make the choices that better align with the path that I'm trying to take in the future. Be compassionate with yourself. All right. That's really all I have for you today. I am Asia, the Soulful Creatrix, and I am wishing you nothing but love and peace and many continued blessings. If you liked what I have to say, if it makes any sense to you, if it resonates in any way, please feel free to like it, maybe leave a comment, maybe share with somebody, because we're all creators trying to make our way through this earthly experience. If you come back for my next live, I think it's on Thursday, I will do Oracle or some type, I don't know, some type of divination, maybe Oracle. I'm going to do something this Thursday in a Q&A type of format, like I normally do. And we will, I don't know what I just saw. Anyway, come back on Thursday. I'll answer your questions. That's really what I'm trying to say. I have nothing else for you guys. I wish you nothing but love and peace. Have a great rest of your day. And remember that we're all one.